Going live, going live, going live. We're waiting on Facebooky because I always have a problem with Facebooky. So right now I'm getting on my phone because for whatever reason, it is not going live. On my phone, it's so much easier. We're going to go live on the phone. Going live, going live, going live. All right, forget the laptop stuff. Facebook, you make it too hard on the laptop. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I'm done complaining. Let's cook. So yesterday I got a colonoscopy and I had a few polyps. But guess what? I'm not worried about it. I don't think that I have cancer. If I do, guess what I'm going to do? Eat more veggies. So today we're going to do the caramelized, pull apart, melt in your mouth. Very simple recipe. Lots of spices, a lot of tomato paste, and a cabbage, right? So the recipe calls for a Savoy cabbage or a green cabbage. And I could not find a Savoy cabbage. So we are going to use half of a Napa cabbage and half of a green cabbage. Yay, cabbage. Cabbage is great. So Aaron is going to cut those in half and put them, those just go in. Cut each half through core into 4 wedges. So we're going to cut it a little bit differently. She's going to cut the top off of each of those and then cut it into 4 wedges. So she's going to cut each one of those in half again. And I think we just put it in, we're just using one. You're supposed to use a cast iron skillet. And guess what? I'm not going to use a cast iron skillet because I don't know what my iron studies are. I think I've had it done in the past. And unless you know what your iron studies are, you can add a lot of iron by cooking in a cast iron skillet, right? So we're not going to use a cast iron skillet today. This recipe also, in its original form, used oil, half a cup. We're not going to use half a cup. We are going to use no oil. That's what happens when I cook it on this show. My wife does use oil, so sometimes I do eat a little bit of olive oil. You get to decide if that's good for you or not. So if you're following the Forks Over Knives, hardcore, plant-based, whole plant-based, vegan, you want to get called names by your friends who are carnivores, don't use any oil. And that's cool. You get to decide what your diet is, whether you're herbivore or an omnivore. I have faith that you are on the right path. Is there some level of meat that could be safe? Yes, maybe. And I'm going to call you an omnivore. What I would suggest is you get the best meat that you can. If you are eating beef, maybe you get grass-fed beef. Maybe you get beef that does not have any of the hormones or antibiotics that they used in growing those beefies, those cows, when they make them. When I cook here on the show, it is trying to get you to try some whole plant dishes, right? So what is something that you want to see us cook? I would love to cook with you. If you want to come on the show and cook with us, we would love it. You can do it virtually. If you want to come over to my house, reach out to me. Maybe I'll tell you, if I trust you, I'll tell you where to come. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to do the cabbage. I think we found this online. Aaron typically chooses, will it fit in there? Ha, ha, ha. We're going to do our best, folks. This will cook down. So we just have a pan that we can put in the oven. We've preheated the oven to 350 degrees, probably half an hour before we started. It got hot probably 10 minutes. So now we're going to make this tomato paste base that we're going to cook the cabbage in. So we got the double concentrate tomato paste. Sprouts brand. Yeah, so just basically we're supposed to use a quarter cup, which is 2 ounces. This is 5.3 ounces. So I'm just having her put about half of the tomato paste in this hair bowl. Then we're going to mix some spices with that. I think we got some cumin, we got some coriander, and some red pepper flakes. And I may add a little bit of spices to it. Notice my speech. My speech class is going well. I'm getting rid of my filler words. And if you believe that, I'll tell you more. So Aaron is now just going to mix together some, we're going to need garlic. The recipe calls for 3 cloves. We're going to use 4 cloves because we love garlic. We're going to just grate the garlic over this once she gets the paste in the bowl. She's going to put 1.5 teaspoons of coriander. I'm going to probably add some whole coriander later. Let's put that just on top of the cabbage later in the cooking process. We got how much red peppers? 1 teaspoon. And we got some cumin. Where's the cumin? Oh, we just have cumin seeds. Let me just look real quick. I might have some cumin that is not just seeds. I was going to use both. I was going to put the seeds in later in the cooking process. Right now, I'm off camera. What a tragedy. You don't get to see my beautiful face. I thought that I had some cumin here, and now I get to tear apart. I got a ton of spices here. This is cumin seed also. Do I even have just ground cumin? I don't know. I don't know, folks. What interesting TV when I'm over here digging for cumin and I don't even know if I have just regular ground cumin. Cumin seeds, cumin seeds, cumin seeds. I got a bunch of cumin seeds. We're going to use cumin seeds today. So we're probably going to put a little bit more. Did you put some of those in there?
No, not yet.
So we're going to put 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. We're going to mix this all together. We might put a little bit of water just to get that to go in there. So basically, you heat a cup of oil in a large pan. You add the cabbage. So you're supposed to use a cast iron skillet. And I talked about sometimes if you don't know your iron, cast iron skillets could. Turning on the heat. We're going to cook down this cabbage a little bit. You're supposed to heat up the oil. I'm going to use a little bit of water. If this gets too hot, if my cabbage starts burning too much, I am going to use a little bit of water to stop the cooking process and get rid of some of the brown. After we get this cabbage, this should be about 4 minutes that we're browning the cabbage in the pan. Like I said, the recipe calls for oil. We're doing it without oil. We're doing it without salt. They also have a 1/4 cup. No, it doesn't tell me how much kosher salt. We are not using kosher salt. All right, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm going to put a timer on here. I'm not good with time. So we've got our little old school egg timer. We're going to put that at about 4 minutes. We're going to let that go. Aaron's going to make this paste so that we can put this.
Oh my gosh.
So right now we're just heating up the cabbage. We're going to cook this down so that some of the water from the cabbage is used to cook this cabbage. We're going to do this about 4 minutes. We're going to let this char a little bit. We're not using oil in our dish, so we're going to see how it turns out. We're going to let you know what it turns out and if we like it or not. We're also going to post some pictures. This recipe is going to be a 40 to 50 minutes in the oven after we get it to that point. So we're only going to be here for about 30 minutes. So we'll post in the Facebook page some of the pictures. So this is good. This is why we...
I can't grate the rest of it with my fingers.
Okay. So she's going to chop up this garlic. If there's a little, if it's not minced or grated 100%, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, so garlic. If I could get you to eat one vegetable, it would be garlic. Garlic is so good for you. It has so many properties and so many phytonutrients that help prevent cancer, right? There's been studies done. Garlic is an amazing plant that if I could get you to eat one thing, there's some people that I might not have to talk into eating garlic, but there's others that may not like garlic. I love garlic, so you're not going to have to talk me into eating garlic. You're not going to have to twist my arm in order for me to try some garlic. So basically, we're getting the garlic into the little bowl here, a little bit still on the cutting board. waste of garlic. I would lick this board, but then you might look at me strange, and I really have a hard time when people look down on me. Just kidding, I could care less. Anyway, so we're gonna have Aaron's mash this up with a spoon just so it kind of incorporates it, gets it everywhere. Once again, we're cooking this cabbage down. I'm gonna get a spatula. We're gonna make sure that this doesn't burn too much on one side or the other. We're gonna try to move this around so it gets as even a heat as we can. This, it would be nice to have just a little bit bigger pan for this. I think we're gonna be okay because the cabbage will cook down. There's a lot of water in here. It's already starting to smell a little roasty toasty. We're going to do 4 minutes, and then we're going to transfer the cabbage to a plate. Pour so in about 4 minutes, we're going to take the cabbage wedges out of here, put it on a plate. I'm going to get 2 because there's a lot of cabbage here. 2 plates. Look at this old school Corel pattern. Isn't that amazing? Green. Eat more greens, folks. Eat more grains. If you learn anything from our show, eat more greens. Greens are very good for you. Have you heard of the ileal brake, right? So your ileum is part of your small intestines. And the ileum, if you have a lot of greens, green plants, it will make you feel full. So if you are on a diet and you would like to lose some weight, eat more greens because it will use the effect of the ileal brake, which is the chlorophyll and other things, sending a message to your brain that you are full, right? So also, I would suggest that plants as a whole are filling and they stretch your stomach out. And the amount of calories that you get from whole plants is a lot less than if you're eating meat, you're eating processed oil, those kind of things. So if you can incorporate more vegetables into your diet, it will be easier for you to lose weight if that's one of your goals that you are trying to do. So like I said, we're going to let this cabbage go for a few more minutes. We're going to take it out. We're going to put this tomato paste little concoction into the pan. We're going to put some water with it. We're going to heat it up enough to let it brown a little bit. Then we're going to put the cabbage back into it, and they're going to shrink down. And then we're going to put it in the oven for about 40 to 50 minutes at 350 degrees. Like I said, our oven is already set. That's why we've got a pan that has a metal handle so that we can put it into the oven. Hopefully you have a pan that has a metal handle that you can cook on the stovetop and put into your oven. If not, go buy one. Anyway, we've had this pan for a long time. Cuisinart, I believe, or I don't know, as far as you can see. Not super important. You want an all-metal pan so that you can cook on the stovetop. And you can put it in the oven also. So once this has been about 4 minutes, I think we're done here. We're going to take that out. We're going to try not to burn ourselves. The thing that's nice about a long handle is, if you could bring that plate over, I'm going to try to do this without dropping it on the floor. So I'm going to have move this, set that on there. I'm going to take these out. We've got a little bit of brown on our cabbage. We're now going to put our tomato paste concoction into the pan. I'm going to leave just a little bit of this cabbage in. Do not burn your hands when doing this, folks. Do not burn your hands. I don't want people telling them, pour that in there. gonna put a little bit of water. Go get some water. Erin is gonna get some. Erin is gonna get some water. She's gonna rinse that. Use that white thing. Do you know how to use that? Just put. There you go. Perfect. Now, pour some of that in there. Perfect. We're gonna let this brown a little bit. This red sauce here, this red paste. We're gonna leave some of the cabbage in here and let some of that brown. A very simple dish, takes a long time, but there's not a whole lot of, very difficult techniques with this dish. It's basically just some paste with some spices and cabbage. Right, I'm going to put a little bit of black sesame in here. I'm going to put a little bit of black peppercorn in here. I've read some places where you should add your pepper more toward the end. I like to do both. I love pepper, so maybe you don't want to use as much pepper. Because you didn't put that up, did you? Did you dump all that?
The water?
Yeah.
Yeah. I rinsed it.
I know. I was going to have you dump it in here. That's all
Um,
right. Oh, well. Communication is key, folks. Let the people that are working with you know what you are trying to do before you do it. Yeah, I was going to have you dump all that paste in. So, oh well. I'll try later. So I just put a little bit of parsley flakes. I put a little bit of umami, which is kind of a mushroom spice. It's probably freeze-dried mushrooms. I'm going to put a little bit of onion powder in there. What the heck? Just a tiny bit. We're going to let this go for a few minutes. All right, we're going to start putting this back in. We're going to try to get this to where the part that wasn't cooked down. I'm trying to get the ones that look the least brown to touch the bottom of the pan to get like a little bit of brownness onto the cabbage. The biggest thing that we're trying to do here is get a little bit of brown on our cabbage. Yeah, just put those in there the best you can. These probably, the top ones, because my pan isn't big enough, will probably not have a little bit of the brown char that we're looking for on some of this here. I'm going to add a tiny bit more. What did that bowl go? Where did that bowl go?
You got
Okay. I'm going to put a tiny bit of water in here. The cabbage will have a lot of water itself. A lot of times when you're cooking, water can stop your cooking process. So if you find that maybe your heat is a little bit too high, you can add a little bit of water. It will slow down the cooking process so that you can just slow it down. A lot of times your temperature, I like jumping all around the place, right? So I like a gas stove because I have a lot of control over the heat. I can turn it up or down quickly if I need to. If I find that, hey, this is cooking too fast, I can change the amount of heat so that it slows the cooking down. I can also use water to slow the cooking process down. We're putting a little bit more pepper here on top. We love it a pepper. We're putting a little bit of parsley. We've also got us some fresh herbs that we're going to use as garnish. I've got Italian parsley here. I've got dill and I've got cilantro. I don't know if people know this. Some people have like they're genetically different. And so cilantro does not taste good to them. And I don't remember all the particulars on that, but look it up. Kind of interesting. Some people don't like cilantro, and it's a genetic thing. It's not necessarily they just dislike it, but some people do not like cilantro. There's a lot of cilantro in traditional Mexican cooking. This is a little bit of mushroom paste I'm putting in there. This is a little bit of mushroom spice I'm putting on there. A little bit of onion powder. A little bit of black sesame. All right, we're going to put this in the oven. It said to cook this for a couple minutes with the paste. Pour remaining half cup into the skillet. Spice tomato paste and cook over medium heat, stirring frequently until tomato paste begins to split and slightly darken, 2 to 3 minutes. Pour in enough water to come halfway up the sides. So I'm going to put a little bit more water in this. The tomato paste is browning. We've probably been on the stovetop for over a couple minutes. I'm trying to pour this into the center so that it's not just getting, yeah, you want to get some water. Pour a little bit more water in this, then we're going to put this in the oven. I might try to see if I can move some of these a little bit without burning my fingers. The spatula and spoon method, as you can tell, I'm not a professional cook. And if there are any professional cooks, I would love to connect with you. I would love for you to come on our show and cook with you. Like I said, a little bit bigger pan may have been ideal, or 2 pans here. We're putting a little bit more water in here. Similar to the glazing, but I don't know if this is technically the glazing. It looks like we're about halfway up this, and we're going to put this in the oven for about 50 minutes. We're going to check it first at 40 minutes. Our oven is already set at 350. We are going to put this bad boy in the stove. We're going to set our timer for 40 minutes. We would love to know if you have any questions. I'm going to check this in 40 minutes. I'm going to see what it looks like. Then we're going to say a lot. Then we're going to maybe let it go for as long as 50 minutes. But we're not going to keep you here for all of that. We will post some pictures on Facebook if you're on Facebook. I don't know how to do it on YouTube yet. Maybe we'll start making some more videos for YouTube, so this is a little bit more interesting for you on that format, that platform. If there's any questions, we would love to know what they are. And thanks for joining us. If anybody has a recipe that they would love to connect with us, teach us how to cook, we would love to cook with you on the show. Have a great day. Aaron, how many minutes have we been? 23 minutes. We only bored you for 23 minutes today. All right, guys, have a great day. Talk to you next Saturday. Aaron will come up with a recipe unless somebody reaches out to us and tells us a recipe that they would like for us to cook on the show. Have a great day. Have a great Saturday. Go hang out with your family. Tell them that you love them. And we will see you next Saturday. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Cool. So we'll just let that go. Yeah, turn that off. Thank you. Eat your cabbage.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is the only problem. Is we'll get hot in here. Can't believe I don't have any cumin. It's not.
We don't